I've shied away from this subject long enough. Let me try explaining what is happening in South Africa under 5 minutes. If you look at the current situation in South Africa from a foreigner's perspective, you're going to think that South Africa is this mecca of Africa, where every African is just struggling to get in order to better their lives. That's not the case. South Africa is hardly the country to look to for greener pastures. Any informed African knows this. South Africa remains the most unequal country on the planet due to no fault of immigrants. Apartheid laid the foundation for that in the form of social and economic discrimination. The black majority was marginalized, and the whites were given every advantage possible to get ahead and to remain ahead for several generations to come. So even after the end of apartheid, inequality in that country was racially inherited. Post-apartheid hasn't really brought about any real change for black people. Understandably, they are pissed off. But instead of looking within, unemployed youth are storming immigrants when they should be united against issues like poor governance, corruption, illiteracy, and the many other issues that is keeping them stuck in an economic debacle. To sum up the confusion a lot of the protesting South Africans have, just 2 days ago, a Ghanaian was surrounded by a group of angry South Africans, asking him to go back to Ghana and press the government of Ghana to fix Ghana so people like him can live in Ghana instead of going to their country and stealing their opportunities, basically insinuating that they are better off than countries like Ghana. This is a street vendor they are harassing, by the way, and if he left, you can bet no South African is taking his place on that street. That's the funny part. But what the South Africans don't know is that unemployment rate in Ghana sits at around 13%. Very bad. I will not defend my country on matters of the economy. We have very high expectations over here for our government. And I won't use South Africa's very, very, very appalling unemployment rate of 33% to somehow pretend we have it good over here, even though we literally have it better than them. South Africa is ranked number 1 in inequality and youth unemployment on the planet. So even Afghanistan, no offense to them, but they have it better than South Africa. So maybe they are not the right people to speak on the state of affairs of other African countries, especially not Ghana. Black people in this country actually own things over here. Same in Kenya, same in Nigeria, same in Ethiopia, not so much in South Africa. So stop projecting your insecurities onto other African countries just because we have a few of our citizens living in your country. Not to mention, the last thing any South African living or working in Ghana or most other African countries would ever have to worry about is a group of angry, half-naked, unemployed indigents storming them in their places of work, trying to get them to go back to their country. That habit has now become the MO of South Africa. We are tired. Should we do it to you? See, the problem isn't that immigrants are harming South Africa. It is that Black South Africa has run out of ideas on how to restart their economic engine since the end of apartheid. And for that, maybe they need to have a sincere conversation with their white brothers so they can collectively see how to regain that lost momentum after, is it 1994? I'll conclude with this. If Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, and his government, and every other South African government before him for that matter, really believed that ridding South Africa of immigrants would finally make South Africa great again. These guys are over there thinking they are the United States of America. But if they believed that was the solution, they would have done that a long time ago. They would have sent immigrants home. Malema would be campaigning on that promise instead of other things.
Shoot to kill. Yamaza. Kill the poor. The farmer. Kill the poor. The farmer.
They aren't doing that because they know what the youth is refusing to acknowledge. The rest of Africa is not the root of your problem. So maybe master the courage and confront the elephant in the room. That is not Ghanaians or Nigerians or, Ethiopians or Kenyans or any other Africans. Before I go, this whole thing is one of the reasons I've always laughed at Pan-Africanists with their United Africa agenda. Open borders, one currency nonsense. This is Africa. We are not united. And we think we have the moral high ground to criticize Europe for cracking down on African immigration. Even South Africa is over here thinking they are it.